Hello, I'm Panos Kotzathanasis, and this is ASEAN Movie Pulse Interviews. Today I'm here with Shoko Takegasa, Director of Short Films Festival in Asia. How are you, Shoko?
Good, good. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay, thank you for being here. So to start with the questions, a general one, how would you describe the purpose of the festival? What is it that you're trying to do?
Okay, so Short Film Festival in Asia was established in 1999 with the aim of promoting new visual culture, especially visual culture from the world, especially from Asia, and also nurturing the up and coming young filmmakers. So I think those two are the main purpose of the festival.
And can you mention some of the highlights of this year's edition? It's going to happen in a few weeks.
Yes. So as I mentioned, it was started in 1999. So actually, we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of its international competition and 20th anniversary of Asia International and Japan competition. And fortunately, the Japanese border is now open, so we can have the international filmmakers to the festivals, I think for the first time in last 4 years, which is, I think, one of the biggest highlights in this year. And also this year's festival theme is Unlock. So with the theme of the festival, we have a special selection of the short film that focusing on the life, society, and the new technologies after COVID. I think that is another highlight, one of the highlights, I guess.
Yes. And also, do you have a rough estimate? How many movies are you screening? Or...
we will have around 150 in competition, and we have another 100 films outside of competition.
Okay, can you describe a bit the selection process? How does
yes,
it?
Sure. So we usually open the call for entry in August and close the call for entry in January, some of the competition in February. So we receive around 5,000, 6,000 submissions from around the world. And we have main 5 competitions, international, India International, Japan, animation, nonfiction, that 5 categories actually best short of each categories are qualified for the Oscar. So the winner of the best short for each categories will be recommended to the next year's Oscar. And we usually select 20 to 30 films in each competition. And in addition to those 5, we have another competitions. One of the competitions are focusing on the theme of Tokyo. The other one is called Branded Shorts, which depicts the branding, the corporate branding. And also we have a unique competition solely shot by smartphones.
So there are a lot of short films that are focusing on Tokyo as a city. It's like, yes?
Yes, we call the competition Cinematics Tokyo Competition. It doesn't necessarily be shot in Tokyo. If you can make a films about, like, the image of Tokyo or something related to Tokyo. So it is actually quite open. And unlike the other competitions, we don't have the limited, regulation of production year. So if you have any film shot like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, which is still eligible for the competition.
Okay. And how would you describe the financial status of the festival?
Not too bad. I think. Like any other major film festivals, we have subsidies from local government entities. But to run a whole year operation, we also need to have some private sponsors, which we have to work every year. Yes.
And the audience, how does the audience work for the festival?
Yes, so even before COVID, I think in 2019, we started the online venue in addition to the theatrical venues in Tokyo. So we became able to reach the audience not only in Tokyo, but outside of Tokyo, even outside of Japan. And so thanks to the online screening, online event, we have, for example, last year we have like 320,000 audience in total.
Mm-hmm.
But still, considering the population of Tokyo, there must be much more potential audience,
Mm-hmm.
physical audience. So that is one of our like tasks, to keep being attractive to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of financing, what percentage is made from the audience, would you say?
Actually, that both online and offline theatrical, the screening are free.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, it is
there's
free. Okay,
admission.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yes, that is why we need to have sponsorships, also the subsidies from local. But I think this style has to be changed a little by little. Yes, to share the benefit to the filmmakers, of course. As a
Mm-hmm.
festival, we need to run a whole year operation, but also we would like to give something back to the filmmakers. So now actually we're thinking of changing like the financial style, not status, but the way of having the fund
Mm-hmm.
little by little.
And do you charge for submissions when somebody submits their film? You have a charge. Okay, okay,
Yes.
okay. And tell me, what are the benefits and what's the problems of having a festival in Tokyo?
Well, that could be kind of similar answer to the previous one, but I think being in Tokyo have more benefits than issues. Since we have more audience, we can reach the large number of people. And of course, like, especially for national filmmakers, it's easier for them to participate and experience the festivals.
Mm-hmm.
And for international filmmakers, not only to participate in the festival itself, they definitely be able to um, enjoy the city where there are so many attractions.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so in other words, there are so many competitors, not
Mm-hmm.
only festivals. There are so many events going on at the same time. So it is hard to be stood out. But I think like I will take it the positive way that we can be very competitive and we can work hard every year to be one of the biggest event in Tokyo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. And okay, since the festival has been going on since 1999, can you mention some of your favorite and some of your worst moments? You have been from the beginning there, or?
Yes, so I joined Short Shorts in 2015. So this is my 8th year.
Uh-huh.
And well, this is quite difficult question for me. I, for example, I discover and experience something new every year, so it's difficult to pick one. But for example, one of the great moments I've experienced is that like seeing all the filmmakers participated to the festival gave the Grand Prix winner a standing ovation at the award ceremony, which was a beautiful moment because they're competing each other, but while they're like participating festival for like a week or 10 days, like they become friends, so and become so close, and they could give the Grand Prix winner like a standing ovation, the pose, and it was a beautiful scene I witnessed during the festival. And actually, that I think it was 2016, and the Grand Prix winner was, of course, recommended to the Oscar, and he actually won the Oscar like in 2017. So the whole story was kind of beautiful.
Which film was that?
It's called Sing, directed by Hungarian filmmaker.
Uh-huh.
His name is Chris Deak.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
so he won the Grand Prix in 2016.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes.
And anything
What's
negative? Anything negative?
negative? Maybe 2020, of course. We had to postpone the festival for the first time. So we usually it takes place in June, but that year we could not have any event in June. So it was quite difficult to prepare for the events with no foreseeable future, more than 6 months. But luckily, we could have the festival in September physically, not only online. We could have actually have a venue. Of course, we have to limit the number of the audience, and we couldn't invite any filmmakers outside of at the time, even outside of Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
But still, yeah, I've seen so many other festivals had to cancel the events, but luckily the timing was good, so we could have the festival. But it was really hard because we were not sure when we can have it or what's going to happen next. So even though we announced that we're going to have the festival, no one was sure that we can actually have it until the day of the day of the opening date, you know.
Okay. And what is your opinion of the Japanese short movies at the moment? Do you think that they have enough space to develop in the country? Or?
Yeah, I think more and more creators are now making short films in Japan thanks to the online platform where they can showcase their works. And some of the VODs also screen and even create short films, or like some experienced filmmakers with famous directors or actors are now start making short films to express themselves. So like in general, the level of Japanese short films are improving, I think. But unfortunately, in terms of market, compared to the TV series, anime series, or feature films, the market for short films are still limited. But I believe they will have more opportunities in near future. That's my hope.
But do they find distribution in Japan? Like, can you go to the cinema and see a block of shorts in Japan, Tokyo?
Compared to the feature film, not like it's quite close to zero. But our organizing company will work as a distributor as well, and also there are a couple of production companies or distributors trying to release the short films in theater. It's hard to screen like one short film, but they will usually combine a couple of short films and make them in like 2 hours in total and release release the films at theater. But yeah, it's still hard. It's more like for the online platform thing still.
And from your experience regarding short films, what kind of films do the audience mostly prefer? In Japanese audience, I mean.
I think it depends. Always like in movie in general, for like Japanese ones have more like entertaining comedy, love, romance films, but it's not always the same for short films. The audience we have more like seeing different, finding different cultures or different lifestyle, different way of living in international short films, and also at the same time they want to find something in common no matter where it comes from. And in terms of genre, I think suspense or horror are actually kind of popular. I think they have like enthusiastic fans.
Okay.
So if it's good, it has like a certain amount of fans and audience always.
And what about animation?
Of course, animation, but there are so many animations here.
Yeah.
So it's always very popular, but it's hard to be stood out.
Okay.
Yes.
And how do you imagine the festival in the years moving forward?
I think the definition of short films or screenings will be changed, which is, I think, exciting. So, like for example, we screened VR films or vertical films, short films, or like as I mentioned, like the short V-screen short films uniquely shot by smartphones, which didn't exist like 5, 10 years ago.
Mhm.
So we expect to have new types of visual arts continuously. So as a festival, while respecting the culture of cinema, shorts would like to be an attractive event by being flexible to any changes in the industry.
Mhm, mhm. In general, how is the quality of those films shot with smartphones? Do they compare with the other ones, let's say?
I think like the number of submission is still limited, but the quality is, I think it's good. And also like they use the characteristics of the smartphone camera, which of course you can take with a normal camera, but uh, sometimes you can feel more like tensions, or like you can be in the easier for them to be in the world of cinema. So
Mhm.
I think some of the films have like good quality with the characteristic of smartphone short films. And also I think to have young creators, and especially for young creators, I think like smartphone makes them easier to become a creator, become a filmmaker. So they can start making films with one smartphone only, and they can create films. That was amazing. So
Mhm.
I think, yeah. The quality is not bad, I think.
Okay. Well, great. I guess that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. It was fun to talk.
Okay, this was Asian Movie Pulse interviews from Panos Kotzathanassis and Shoko Takegasa. Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.